Hey y'all. Hey guys, your girl is back. So today's video is gonna be a story time, mainly because when I was at the hospital, specifically to give birth, I really couldn't record much. I know some people have like full-on recordings, but the people were a little strict. They weren't rude about it, but they were a little strict about there being videotaping during my birth. So I'm just gonna give a bit of a story time. So backtracking to when I went to my last appointment. Now they wanted me to induce really bad. The lady at the time, she was asking me if I wanted to be induced, and naturally any mom at that would want, their baby to be naturally born. Now I was one of those moms. I wanted my baby to be naturally born. I wanted her to come out on her own. I didn't really want to force her, but push come to shove, certain things don't force you, but certain things do occur as to you having to give birth a little bit earlier or later on. Now for me it was later on. My baby, she was past her due date. Her due date was the 26th, and we pulled up there on the 30th. Now that's a good little minute. She was 27, 28, 29, 30. She was 4 days past her due date. Because, I was being a little stubborn. I really didn't actually, I wasn't being stubborn. I need to give myself grace. One thing about it, and two things for sure, if you don't want to induce your child, you don't have to. Like, you really don't have to. Now, if it comes to a point where you're getting a little bit impatient and you want to take that time to do that, then do that. But don't let a doctor just, try to force it on you or tell you unless it's, a medical issue. So fast forward, I was actually with my boyfriend's mom. So I was actually with my boyfriend's mom, and I was telling her a bit of my concerns of, there was a lot of mix up going on with my OBG. Mind you, my OBGYN actually was going to be shut down. It was going to be shut down because the main OBG that was there had a stroke. So they were finna shut down, not to mention the timestamp for me to get induced was very small. So the thing about it is, she actually scheduled me for one because she had told me to be on standby because I had finally given in on the 30th. She had told me to be on standby. So she basically has sent me the email and said that it was going to be on September the 1st. Now, the thing about it is, she actually didn't get word from the hospital that the original doctor that they wanted to do the induction for me wasn't at that hospital anymore. So it was a lot of he said, she said. That hospital was asking me like, oh, okay, we see you for an induction, but they were letting me know that the doctor there wasn't there anymore. And my place, it was just like a lot of back and forth between my OBGYN and the hospital that I was supposed to be induced at. And you could tell, like, I was getting just a little bit frustrated because what do you mean I can't get induced at that time because my doctor won't be there? That's what I was told by my OBGYN. And they didn't let me know. My OBGYN did not let me know. The hospital let me know. And apparently they were saying that they found out the same time that I did that the doctor wouldn't be there. So think about me pulling up to the hospital thinking I'm getting induced, and I'm not getting induced because my doctor's not there. That's why I'm finding another OBGYN anyways, because the person who was working there or filling in for my doctor who had the stroke wasn't doing the job that they were supposed to. So anyways, I was with my boyfriend's mom, and I had basically voiced my concern about it because it was like, damn, when am I going to find a slot, like, a new date on when I'm supposed to be induced, because my baby is 4 days past her due date, and I'm freaking out. I'm just freaking out. So we go to the hospital. We go to the hospital so that we can get some type of clarity or see if we can get in with an induction, because the nice lady at the hospital has said that we can either pull up earlier or we can pull up at that same around that same amount of time to get induced, because they had another doctor on hand. Sorry if I'm a little all over the place. So we pull up to the hospital, and mind you, at the time, I was really swollen. Now, I didn't really think anything of me being swollen, my feet or hands or whatnot of that nature. I just noticed that the further along in my due date, I was just feeling a little bit different. Like certain things in my pregnancy that I didn't have were starting to show up. And my blood pressure was pretty high. I mean, I had this weird attack 3 days prior of my blood pressure getting really, really high, feeling like my contraction. Mind you, your girl was only 1 centimeter. Okay, feeling that was not no joke at all. And I don't think my body was taking that very well. Pull up to the hospital, and we talked to the lady at the front desk or whatever. We talked to the lady at the front desk, and I tell her, a little about my concerns. I basically tell her that, my hands and my feet are swelling a little bit, my blood pressure is up, and see if I can get an induction. So due to my situation, they had fit me in. So the lady had fit me in, and she wanted to run some blood tests. Now the blood test was going to conclude if I could get the induction or not. The lady was so sweet, by the way. Full disclosure, Methodist West Houston, because your girl lives in Houston, is the best ever. If you want to, I know it's a lot of controversy about how, they don't really care for black moms. I never felt so cared for ever in the hospital by that whole entire corporation, like literally by the staff. I never felt so loved and, cared for and seen and heard by so many staff, because usually it's just that one person who really sees you and stuff, but no, the whole staff. My mom. The whole staff was sweet. So the lady, she didn't want me to go home. So she was like, hopefully when we take these blood tests, we can get you in for that induction, because I don't want to see you go home. Mainly because, your girl was swelling. I had to wear compression socks, things of that nature, stuff like that. Like, it was no joke. So when she came back with my blood test, I had like protein. And on top of that, now I was diagnosed with preeclampsia. And I did not know that I had that at all. Like, I did not know. All I knew was parts of my body was swelling, and I had like salt intake. So naturally they put me on magnesium and got your girl to work. So basically, she had told me that we could be induced, and I was so excited. I was so happy, because I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I can get induced. But I was a little nervous because, no one really knows about that process. I've heard so many things about Pitocin, things of that nature. So, she put me on an IV. Oh my gosh, I hated that. Ugh, I hated how that felt. But in my mind, I was ready to do anything to, give birth to my baby. I wanted her to be healthy. I wanted her to be good. And preeclampsia is like really no joke. So it was good that I went when I did, because everything was pointing that something was wrong. And, showing at the hospital probably was the smartest thing I've ever done on that day. So they put me on an IV, and a bunch of the nurses had came in and told me about the process and what I will be attaining. I had to sign a few documents, stuff of that nature, nothing too crazy. So they moved me to the next room, and this really, really, really sweet lady, one of the staff, she actually explained to me the process of what I was going to be doing. So basically, she took a pill and she told me that it was going to be inserted inside of me. And they did not think, I'm telling y'all, they did not think that I would go into labor that fast. Now, it wasn't no Pitocin, it wasn't none of that. Mitocin, it wasn't none of that. It was just a pill that they had, hoping that it would induce my labor, because that's what they used to induce my labor, a pill inside my body. So she put it in, and y'all, I kid you not, his mom was there and Sean was there as well. Sean, he decided to go to work, because nobody thought that I would go into labor or dilate. Mind you, let me backtrack. Dilate, I was only 1 centimeter. Remember, I was only 1 centimeter dilated. When she put that pill in me, guys, I dilated so fast. I'll tell you, he drove 40 minutes because we was all the way in Katy and we're 40 minutes out from Katy. He drove all the way 40 minutes. By the time he went to work, it was late at night. It was late because she was born in the AM. It was late. He drove because he had work around 6, but he had to be there at 7. Around 6 to 7 a.m. for the next day, I was 7 centimeters dilated. The people, like, mind you, people were like, the people on the outside were like watching me. They were making sure that all of my blood pressure and everything was good. Like, that was good. But how quickly I was dilating was insane. They were like,
So I know it's ahead. Um, I am 7 centimeters, probably already leading up some more because it feels like she's pushing out the catheter. Um, could be anything, but I'm calling her now to see. The vlog wasn't very long.
Hey, Miss Kim, this is Sophie, actually.
I'll come back up. He went to work.
So it could be the water that first.
Oh, okay. Okay, he's coming right back. Well, he's here already. He's probably just making his way up. But
was insane. They were like, yo, you're finna basically give birth today, like right now. So I had called him, well, his mom had called him and told him that he needs to come back right away because I'm dilating like really, really fast. Backtrack. Your girl has gotten no type of epidural. Wait, no. Wait. Backtrack. I was 4 centimeters dilated. I lied. I was 4 centimeters dilated. And your girl had got no epidural, mind you. Due to me not getting any epidural, I was feeling the pain. And at 4 centimeters, I was throwing up. Like, when I tell y'all I was throwing up in trash cans because of the amount of pain that I was feeling, I wanted to at least get to 5 centimeters before I wanted to get to at least 5 centimeters or at least 7 because something told me my epidural was going to wear off. I don't know what told me, but something told me that my epidural was going to wear off. So when it came in with the epidural, which doesn't hurt, by the way, get that back straight, because the pain that you're feeling and then the epidural feel like nothing. It's just like a pinch. It's just like, like, oh my God, like something just hit me in the back. Like, it doesn't feel like no bee sting, none of that. I mean, I don't know. It didn't feel like that to me. So they gave me the epidural and I started dilating more. When I got to 7 to 8 centimeters, and then his mom started calling Sean, that's when she called him to come back because the baby was on her way. She was coming. Like, she wasn't waiting. She was coming. She was ready. So basically, he came back, and by the time he was back, I was 8 centimeters dilated. And your girl, it was damn near time for me to push. Okay, it was time for me to push. So I'm gonna tell you this. Everyone says that the pushing is way better. The pushing was hell to me. I'm a first time mommy, so me having to push my baby out felt like a big fucking chore. Like, y'all, it felt like a chore. I kid you not. It was not a joke. It was not a joke to me.
3, 4, 5, 6. Let this leg fall out like this, Dad. 7. Back. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing.
But it was not a joke to me. When she had told me to push, I felt like I was pushing out. Oh my gosh, y'all. And then like it's like something was holding right there, which was her body.
Keep that knot at your chest.
There you go.
7, 8, 9, 10. Big deep breath. You're going to curl your head over your chest. Big deep breath.
There you go.
And push hard. Harder, 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 harder. More. That's it, that's it, that's it. 6, 7, 8.
That I was feeling near my butt and near my vagina, and the lady, the whole staff was so sweet.
Okay, y'all, so I'm finishing the rest of the video basically in the car, mainly because your girl has absolutely no time to herself. I mean, I do have time to myself, but not really. Ever since I had my little baby, you know, my man and then my baby, you know, I did the mother thing. So basically this is when everything all started to go down, basically, right? So after well, I left off on saying that the staff basically was perfect, and I only say this because I had a 8-pound baby. Neri was 8 pounds, like literally, like she was so big, and this was my first baby. So it all started going down when the staff started coming in. It was like about 10, I tell you, it was about 10 people in that room with me, literally 10 people in that room. And I would say, yes, pushing was the worst for me because I didn't know how to push. I didn't know how to push at all, and I was just feeling all this pressure under my butt. So the doula, because the original lady who was supposed to, she needed backup. Basically, I had about 10 people in the room because she needed backup. Because your girl, I was finna give up, y'all. Like, it was crazy. Like, I'm telling you, when they tell you to practice on your pushing, practice on your pushing, because it's no joke. It's no joke when you gotta push, because you're thinking that the baby is coming out with you. No, they have to basically push the baby out. Like, she was pushing down on my stomach so that Nuri could move, like she could sway her way out, right? So I'm pushing. It's a whole bunch of nurses and all of that coming in, and the main doctor, the doctor that the hospital actually wanted me to have instead of the one that my OBGYN had, came in as well. And he was like the big dog. He was watching all the other like nurses and stuff take care of me and do what they needed to do, right? Mind you, I have a lot of live photos, mainly because you know they wouldn't let us record. So I'm pushing, and Sean's mom, like, I'm telling you, like, I'm like, my face is red. I'm trying so hard to push this baby out. When I tell you, I started screaming. When I started screaming, that's when I was giving up. Okay, they was like, you got this, you got this, you got this, and I was just like, cause she was just like, you're almost there. And somebody, whoever was holding my vagina so I wouldn't tear, cause baby, I know I would have told, because my ass, all I'm gonna say is that first poo, nothing to play with. And on top of that, not to mention, she was stretched. Okay, TMI. Look, I made a full disclosure in the caption, TMI, but my butt stretched. It was more stretched than my vagina was stretched, and I couldn't believe that. But that's mainly because she kept telling me to use my butt muscles to push Neri out. So I'm pushing, I'm doing it. Shoot, y'all, I'm gonna just show y'all pictures because I can show you better than I can tell you. So as I'm pushing, I'm screaming, and I was like, I can't. And they always say, when you say you can, that's when the baby comes out. And she slipped right out, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, it went into like full movie slow motion mode after she came out. She was covered in blood. It wasn't a lot of like white on her. She was covered in like blood and everything. And then we moved on to well, I was laid out on the bed inserting. I was laid out on the bed. I was out of there. Like, I was done. And I felt everything, mainly because my epidural wore off. Did I mention that my epidural wore off, y'all? I felt everything to the last stitch on my labia because your girl ripped on one of her little lips. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I think I got like 3 stitches or whatever, and I did not pass out onto the bed until I heard her cry, because, you know, crying indicates that the baby is the good, you know, lungs and everything, whatnot. So yeah, and so then it just went into slow motion, you know, just inserting pictures, showing you guys what was going down. Full disclosure, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, after that, it wasn't too stressful in the hospital. The whole staff was amazing. They were very sweet to me. They were telling me how great I was, even though I didn't feel that great, you know, push come to shove. They were just sweet. They were just telling me how amazing everything was. Pushing out an 8-pound baby. That was my first baby. Everyone was telling me what I didn't think I was doing. They were telling me that they were mesmerized, that they were real shook, that I did so good. Like, I'm just telling you, that hospital will make you feel so loved as a first-time mom. I'm telling you. So, yeah, y'all. That's what went down at the hospital when your girl gave birth. And it was crazy.